Justice. I love this card too. So Justice, now we're getting into kind of that potential for a moralistic outcome. So we could have karma, we could have the wheel and justice together, and then our understanding of, oh, you had that coming to you kind of karma that we often think of. You know, I always kind of balk when I go in cafes and there's a karma jar for tips. And it's like, with the idea that by giving money, you're cleaning your karma. Well, yeah, I mean, yes and no. It is an action that shows appreciation, and showing appreciation does clean up some of the effects of other actions that may not be cleaned up if you don't show that appreciation. So there is a tie there, but it's kind of oversimplified. Anyway, Justice. So we now have, again, kind of two opposing forces. We have that tenness, we have a completion, and we've reached a point where a new decision has to be made. The 10 has to be split. And there is an idea of fairness in Justice, that the 10ness is split right down the middle. It's what's just for the moment. And so we have kind of the sword of justice going straight through, separating one side from the other. And in this case, justice is often associated with air. I chose to place justice in Earth for the orbifold because I do find that Earth, if we take kind of my simplified versions of the four elements and what they represent for us, if we take Earth as being, our being, kind of the seat of our being, we know what is right and what is fair in the seat of our beings. We don't need thought to understand that. We know it deeply within ourselves. And so there's actually, the Earth is more fair. Earthiness, groundedness, solidity is more fair in many ways, more just than air is, because air is, the mind is tainted by our experiences and our biases and our preconditions, whereas being is much more clean than that in many ways. So that's justice, the sword of justice, and we have eyes. We have kind of seeing through things and seeing the middle of things. So there's also that, the blindfold and the scales, the balance of justice, balance being even on both sides. My cat wants to participate in the video. He's a good tarot reader. So that's justice. The Hanged One. Another card I love. I've got a lot of cards that I like, which is good, because, you know, if I didn't like my cards, then I would have a hard time reading with them and talking about them to you and promoting them to everyone. So it's good that I like them. So the Hanged One, it's all about changing perception and inverting and seeing things from a different perspective. And so he's upside down, he's hanging from a branch or a tree or something, and often there's the sun is coming up behind his head. So there's a kind of a glow, a halo. It's kind of depicting the dawning of a new consciousness, the dawning of a new understanding within the mind. And in order to do that, in some Hanged One depictions, I've seen he's actually hanging over a pool of water. So hanging over the ocean or hanging over a pool of water, symbolizing that consciousness has been turned under. From consciousness, we've turned under into the unconscious, into the subconscious, into the depths of the unknown parts of the mind, the intuitive parts of the mind, the feeling and the sensory parts of us. And so we've inverted consciousness in that way. And through that inversion, we allow the subconscious, the intuitive, the watery part of the mind, to actually rise up into consciousness. So we have consciousness here, unconsciousness here, or subconscious here. And it's the subconscious is rising up through the conscious mind as the conscious mind is being subverted, turned under the unconscious mind. And then the medium, the intermediary here, is earth, is being. And it's through inverting the conscious and the subconscious with the conscious, and turning, kind of like the wheel, but it's more internal, turning the conscious and the subconscious, the subconscious and the conscious up and down over and over, and changing our perspectives, and allowing the things from the bottom of the mind to bubble up, and for allowing for the things at the front and the top of the mind to settle back down into the back of the mind. In that entire process, we kind of sift through and find our being. And actually, in a lot of ways, if we aren't secure in who we are, if we aren't secure in ourselves, if we aren't rooted in earth well, then that turning can be very upsetting, can be very confusing, and can it can uproot us in ways that are maybe not so productive, and may feel backwards and confused. And so often the Hanged Man is also about confusion, and righting confusion, moving from confusion to clarity. So that symbology is all depicted there, with earth as the intermediary, the unconscious rising up through the conscious mind, the air spheres, and the unconscious mind, the water spheres, accepting, absorbing the conscious mind into it. So there's a constant up and down through the mind, with the intermediary as earth. And then right at the center we have, this Vesica Pisces with a kind of like a cat's eye shape in the middle, showing again clarity. There's singular clarity that results from this turning, from this inversion, and the inversion kind of happens so many times that eventually right way up and upside down don't really make a difference anymore. The mind becomes so accustomed to having the flux between the conscious and the subconscious and the conscious turned, that a certain clarity occurs where it's neither conscious nor subconscious. It's neither intellectual or intuitive. It's no longer thought or feeling. They feed each other, and they become something that is a bit different and more clear. So this is related to the Hierophant in that way, of combining air and water, but it's a lot more grounded. Even though the Hanged Man is suspended in the air, suspended upward, he finds the root of his being. He finds the ground of his being.